What is up, awesome people, and welcome to the second edition of the Talking Sky with Mom podcast. My name is Marquita, and this is my awesome mom.
Hello.
And we are big Sky fans, and we just want to share our fandom and our love about the Sky and our thoughts about what's going on with the Sky and the WNBA. We want to just share that with everybody. So, welcome to the podcast. We hope you are Sky fans, but if you're not, I ask that you stick along and hear the conversation because it'll be kind of interesting. If you have not already liked this video, please like it. If you love women's basketball, please subscribe to this channel. This is not just a Sky podcast channel. On this channel, we talk about all things related to women's basketball. So if that is of interest to you, please subscribe. And thanks in advance. All right, so let's talk about the Sky. All right, so the Sky is interesting this year, right? The Sky we've been used to the Sky having a consistent, generally consistent look in terms of a roster. However, things have dramatically changed. Mm-hmm. So let's first start with the best season for the Chicago Sky, the 2021 season when we won the championship and actually have an autographed version of the Sky roster poster. All right, so Mama, let's talk about some of the people who are no longer with the Sky. We start with Stephanie Dolson, who has left the team. Big Mama.
Wow, I love Dawson. When we won that year, she was so powerful. At the rim, she was fast. She was aggressive. Mm-hmm. I really believe that she was one of the reasons why we won that year is because she was consistent throughout the playoff with being aggressive. I think prior to the playoff, she wasn't as aggressive, but when that playoff hit, it's like she went to another gear. And we saw it. And it was like amazing. Like, look at that big girl go. And and I'm not saying big in a negative way, but I'm saying she was big on the court and the other teams felt her bigness and they felt her power. It was awesome.
Yeah. One great thing about Dolson is her screens. Her screens are powerful. She does a lot of moving screens that never get called. Luckily for us, it didn't really get called in 2021. But like she got screens for days. But she's no longer with the Sky. She helped get us a championship and has now went off to the New York Liberty, where she is actually a teammate of another Sky great, Courtney Vandersloot.
Yeah,
our point guard.
Yes, Vandersloot is what we would call her when she would do her 3-pointers. I love Sloot. She was awesome throughout the playoff. She always came through for us. When we need an energy pick-me-up, Sloot was the one. Mm-hmm. And she stayed consistent throughout the playoff. And the coach could rely on her. Yep. To find a way.
She was a floor general.
Yes.
She's a floor general. And that was in 2021. She did a lot for us. Mm-hmm. 2022, I personally feel like she kind of went down a little bit. Still great player, but wasn't as powerful.
Right.
And now she is with the New York Liberty trying to complete this super team win. So she's teamed up with Jonquil Jones, who used to play for the Connecticut Sun. She's also a teammate of Breanna Stewart, who used to be on the Seattle Storm.
Oh wow!
Yeah, you didn't realize that?
I didn't realize she was gone.
Yep. Since Sue Bird retired, and
wow.
Breanna Stewart was like, "Hey, I'm getting out of here."
Yeah, Breanna Stewart was. I liked her as a player. I really did. I didn't think she would leave that team though.
Yeah, well, they didn't.
Wasn't she the number one player besides Sue Bird?
She was the number one player with Sue Bird, but but they didn't. Their prospects was terrible. They weren't going to win another championship. Like if you look at the Seattle Storm team, like it's not good. Mm-hmm. Because for years they had to have Sue Bird's salary on the books. And with that big of a salary cap, you couldn't get as many players as you really wanted to because high salary cap.
Right.
Similar situation to what Phoenix Mercury is dealing with right now with Diana Taurasi's like huge salary because they've been in the league.
Retire? Yeah, I thought she was gonna retire. Oh wow.
Nope. We will see if she leaves after this season.
She's been strong. So I guess she want to hang in there till she can't bounce no more, huh?
And supposedly, Diana Taurasi is supposedly interested in the Olympic team. That's a whole nother story. Mm-hmm. But interesting of older players who don't want to leave.
Okay.
But yeah. So Courtney Vandersloot is now a New York Liberty player. Mm-hmm. We also have on here Allie Quigley.
Quigley.
And Allie Quigley has decided to sit this season out. She announced a couple months ago that she is technically not retiring, but she's sitting it out. She's basically going to retire. She doesn't want the spotlight, but also since Sloot is no longer going to be on the Chicago Sky, I don't think Allie feels like she should be on the Chicago Sky and have to go against Courtney. So,
so did Quigley stay in Chicago?
I think she's in New York with Courtney.
Okay,
that's my assumption.
Okay,
I think I thought that Allie kind of wanted to be done after the championship.
Okay,
but she came back for another year, and we're all grateful. She won another 3-point contest. She's a legend. For DePaul basketball and also for Chicago Sky basketball. And she's gonna quietly retire, I believe. I believe she's going to wait until we're kind of like a month or two in the season, and she's gonna say, "I'm done." Because I don't think she wants fanfare. She's not an attention-seeking person. Not to say that like her, getting the praise that she's due means that she's attention-seeking. I think she just doesn't want spotlight at all. Courtney likes it. But,
yeah, Courtney definitely likes it.
But Allie doesn't. And yeah. So Allie's not playing for this guy this season.
But she's awesome.
She's awesome. She really helped us win the championship. Yeah, she's just great.
Yeah, she kind of pulled back in last season. You kind of like saw that as well. So maybe she didn't have that desire to, maybe that wasn't her number one thing anymore. And maybe she want to move on in life, as people say, as you reach the pinnacle of something, you kind of like move on from it. Like, okay, that's enough of that. Maybe that's where she's at.
I think you have a point there. I think that's probably for sure what happened with her. A couple other players. Diamond DeShields. She helped win us the championship. She was a long-standing Sky player for years, and has helped build what we have now. But after the 2021 season, she left the Sky. She now plays for the Dallas Wings, who is a team that a lot of people refer to as Dallas University because they just have a lot of young players and they're never really good. So,
I miss Diamond. She was a hustler. And I miss that type of play sometimes. Sometimes she had attitude too. She did have that, and everybody recognized that. But when she really wanted to play, you knew it and you felt it. So we did miss that last year.
Yeah.
I think if we had her, we may have had a chance because we needed somebody to kind of like push us, at different times in the playoff.
Yeah, I think you have a point there. I think she would have she probably would have helped us not lose to the Connecticut Sun last season. So, but Diamond DeShields is awesome. She rocks. Since she's now on Dallas, I'm not rooting for her because I'm not rooting for Dallas. But as a person and as a player, I like her a lot. And I love the fact that she wears goggles. Like I just love it. As someone who I think I wore goggles for a little bit.
Yes, you did in high school. Yeah,
and it's just goggles were never cool, but the goggles she has, those are some cool.
It's a fashion statement.
If I had those goggles when I was younger, I would have never decided to wear contacts. So she got some cool looking goggles.
Yes, she does.
We also have Azrae Stevens, who was on the team in 2021. She is now on the LA Sparks. We are very sad to have her go. She played with us last season, and she just decided, hey, she's gonna follow the wave. There was a huge wave of players who left us last year. Azare, you had actually we're gonna talk about it in a second because this is the 2021 roster.
Mhm.
But yeah, Azare has left us. She is on the LA Sparks. You know, Azare, she has so much joy
Yes.
and sunshine.
Yes. You never saw her frown. Azare was she brought a spark when she did come on the court. She was not a starter most of the time, but when she was on the court, you could feel her presence.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of like a surprise when she would hit a basket. People would be surprised, like she couldn't shoot. Like she could shoot a three, you know. She always brought a spark to the team.
Yeah. As Azare she's just fun.
I like her.
We also had Lexi Brown, who is Azare's teammate on the LA Sparks. Lexi was cool. She wasn't one of my favorite players. She also didn't get that much playing time, which is a whole nother story. In 2021,
I didn't remember.
Yeah, she barely played.
Okay.
It was her and Dana Evans were similar in that they barely played.
Right.
In 2021.
I remember that.
Fans wanted them to get out there. But
That's
James
right.
Wade
We sure did. We sure did. Like they're the only two that's not playing.
Yeah.
Like what's up with that?
They rode the bench in 2021. Yep, and they've moved on. Dana Evans, of course, is still with the team, but Lexi has moved on to bigger and better things. At
which team was she with now?
She's with the Los Angeles Sparks.
Really?
Yeah. So
okay.
So we will see what she does this season. It'll be really interesting. All right, so we talked about most people. Astu Dufault, she was on the championship team. She sat out last season. It was announced, I think a couple weeks ago, that she's going to sit out this season also.
Oh, okay.
So,
I don't know much.
The Sky has her rights, but she won't be playing this season. We also have, of course, Candace Parker, who's on the 2021 team. She came home, won us a championship, stayed for another year, and she bounced. But we are very grateful for her service.
Candace! We love her. Candace played her heart out that year. We won the championship, and she played her heart out last year.
Yeah.
It was such a shame that she couldn't win it for us, but she gave it all she had.
Yeah, she did. She gave it all she had. And now she's with the Las Vegas Aces. All right, so those, and then of course Dana Evans, which I think I mentioned, and then of course Kalia Copper. We can't forget her. The amazing Kalia, who is now the leader of the Chicago Sky team. She came to the Sky via a trade. It was the Elena Deladon trade. Yeah. And when she came over, I had no idea who she was.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't checking for Copper. Mm-hmm. And then over the years, she just got better and better and better and just took on more of a leadership role. And, it's her team now. Mm-hmm. She owns this team. She is the leader. She learned a lot from Candace Parker and Courtney Vandersloot on how to lead a team. And now she has taken the mantle. And she is leading us on to glory, hopefully. We'll see.
I love Copper. She had some plays down the court at the basket. She would do some crazy stuff, and the basket would go in. And it's like, I don't know, where did she do that? I just love her energy. She has great energy, and I hope that this year she's able to bring that same energy to some of these new players that haven't played with her yet. Good.
Yeah, there's quite a few new players too.
Yeah.
All right, let's quickly go. So that was the 2021 roster. Autograph. And we're gonna talk about the 2022 real quick. We're just gonna real quick hitters. Of course, 2022, Allie Quigley was on the team. Candace Parker, Courtney Vandersloot, Azare Stevens, Emma Mieseman, who was an amazing Belgian player. she was awesome. I really liked the fact that we had her. Due to prioritization, she has decided not to play in the WNBA. Likely anymore for at least this season.
And what does that really mean?
Prioritization is basically a tax of sorts for players who play overseas who come to the league late. So for years and years and years, the first 2 weeks of the WNBA season was crap. It was terrible because you had all the best players still playing overseas in their league, winning championships or whatever, coming over here late. And the first couple weeks, they would miss.
Okay.
And so you have garbage players who you know is not going to make the... Actually, I shouldn't say garbage players. These are talented players who are not going to make the actual roster. They're on the roster to begin the season, but then they get cut once the good players come back. The WNBA was tired of that because it was a thing every single year. So now it's a penalty for players who arrive late from overseas. And Emma Mieseman was a player that she didn't want to deal with it. So she has opted to not come to the U.S. to play in the WNBA. Another player who has also done the same thing is Julie Allemon, who was a player for us. She was okay. I think when she came over, before Julie Allemon came over last season, Dana Evans was playing a lot of minutes.
Right.
She actually started initially to start the season. And then when Julie came over, it was like Dana was kind of bumped to the bench.
Yep.
And as fans, we were, a lot of Sky fans are very big Dana Evans fans.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We love Dana. We love Dana.
And we are proud of it.
Yes. I love her spot up threes. And she does it, and it has nothing to do with her height. She can play.
She can play. So Julie Allemon is not on the team anymore. Neither is Emma Mieseman. They are staying overseas. Other players who were on the team, Rebecca Gardner.
Yes.
Rebecca Gardner was a player, everyone heard about it last year. Oh, the 30-year-old rookie is on the Sky and is just lighting it up. Rebecca Gardner was the steal of last year. James Wade saw her play in Europe and was like, I need to sign you. Let's do it. And when she came over, I was like, who is this Rebecca Gardner? Because I never watched her play in college. And then she went overseas. I don't really watch overseas games like that. So I didn't know who she was. But when she started to play.
Yes. Everybody loved her. And the other teams, she became a threat to them.
Yep.
They knew they had to guard her. They couldn't just leave her alone because she was going to spot up and she was going to shoot that ball. And it was going to go in. So we loved her last year.
I think she averaged over 50% from the field last season. This season, she's going to get a lot of minutes. Likely, she's going to start for the team. And I am just very, very excited to see how Rebecca Gardner just sort of evolves as a player. She's already great. She was great last season, and I'm just excited for this season. It should be pretty fun.
I'm looking forward to seeing her on the court.
Yeah, it should be great. Also, Ruthie Hebert, new mom, Ruthie Hebert.
Ruthie.
Ruthie is a player that the fans love. It's Dana and Ruthie that the fans just really love.
Yes.
Ruthie recently had a baby. Congratulations, Ruthie. And she's just getting back into the swing of things. So it should be pretty interesting to see one, how long it takes her to fully get back. She is practicing with the team now. So that's I'll probably give her another month or so
to really
until
get
she's
into the swing of it.
Yeah. But Ruthie's.
So she probably won't start then, you don't think?
Oh no. She wasn't gonna start regardless.
Oh, okay. She's
not starter level, but she is a good off the bench get you something.
Yes, she is
player. Yeah. Lee Rue. Lee Rue was on the team last year. They got her. Chicago Sky got her last year. She's a Chinese player. I like her. She's on the team this season. However, she hasn't played in any of the games, and I don't know what's going on with her. She has an injury of some sort. James Wade is kind of cagey about it.
But we like Lee.
We like Lee.
We
Yes.
do. And last year, she didn't play a whole lot. And it seems like when she did get into the game, she was a little confused as to what role she was supposed to, play. And I think because of her language barrier.
Yeah. That was for sure problematic, especially early on when she came. It was like like you said, she didn't know what she was doing. We love her as fans. Like when she comes to the game, everyone's like, "Please."
Yes.
So we love her. However, the fact that she is not playing, practicing and all that stuff this season is at least at the start of the season is a bit of a concern.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then of course we had Dana Evans. I think I covered basically everybody on this 2022 roster. Allie Quigley, Candace Parker, Courtney Vandersloot, Azarae Stevens, Emma Mieseman, Kalia Copper, Rebecca Gardner, Dana Evans, Lee Yaroo, Julie Alamon, and Ruthie Hebert.
Yes.
So those are the players last year. And now, let's get to this season.
Oh, wow.
All right. So we got a lot of new faces.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of new players on the Chicago Sky. And let's kind of go over them right now. So let me pull it up real quick. All right. So the Sky roster. Here is everybody who is currently on the team. Of course, there still are some cuts that need to be made.
Mm-hmm.
But currently, here's who we got. We got Christine Enigwe, who is a 6'4" forward. We have Morgan Birch, or I always get confused on how to say her last name. It's spelled like Birdish, but like I've heard people say Bert, so I don't know. Morgan Burt, she is a rookie, a forward, standing at 6'4". Kalia Copper, 6'1" guard / forward. Dana Evans, going into her third year this season, 5'9" guard. Rebecca Gardner, 6'1" guard, going into her second. Going into her second year. We have Isabel Harrison, 6'3" forward. Ruthie Hebert, 6'4" forward. Marina Mabrey, 5'11" guard.
Mm-hmm.
Annalie Maley, 6'1" forward. Robin Parks. I don't know why they don't have her height or her position. She's a forward. I think she's like 6'3" or something like that. Alana Smith, 6'4" forward. Elizabeth Williams, 6'3" center. Courtney Williams, 5'8" guard, and Lee Yaroo. Again, they don't have her height or her position. She's a center. I think she's like 6'4" or something like that.
Yeah, she's pretty tall.
So those are the people on the roster. So, Mom, what do you think? Because there's a lot of new faces.
The one that I do recognize from another team was Williams. What's her first name?
Courtney Williams.
Courtney Williams. When we saw that game, the first preseason game here in Chicago, I remember her.
You remember her when she beat us?
Yes.
When she was with the Connecticut Sun.
She was a dogmatic player. I'm just going to say it like that. That girl got under everybody's skin because she was there. Every time they thought they was going to do something, she came and she gave the Connecticut Suns the energy. She gave them points. Every time they got down, here she comes. And so I'm looking forward to her because we know what she can do, number one.
Yeah.
We've seen her in action.
Yeah.
We've seen her play when her team was down. We've seen her play when her team was up. We know that she brings the same level of energy no matter what. And so I'm happy that she's part of our team. And I'm hoping that she is going to cause us to have a winning season.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure how far that'll take us, whether or not we'll make it into the playoffs with her. But the fact that she's on our team, I'm happy about it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, Courtney Williams, she is aggressive.
Yes.
Very, very aggressive. And I remember I can't in the playoffs last year, it was a home game that we had, and her and Copper locked up for the ball, and neither one was
let go. I remember that play.
Neither one.
What is going on? They were going at it.
Yeah, it was like you let go 1st.
Mhm.
And it was a bit of a shocker that Copper greenlit Courtney Williams to come on the team. Because I was like, oh, maybe they don't like to. Nah, they're just like they're hard competitors, and if you on the other side of the court from them, they want to beat you, and you their enemy for that period of time.
Right.
And I love that about both of them, and I am just so excited to watch them together.
Yes.
It's pretty cool.
good.
Yeah.
Who else do we have that's new? I don't recognize a lot of those new players.
Yeah, a lot. So here's some that have been pretty good. So we have Marina Mabrey, a player who used to play for the Dallas Wings. Marina Mabrey we gave a lot away for her.
Really?
We gave some draft picks away for her.
Okay.
Some significant draft picks for her, and she can shoot.
Okay.
Like, she can really, really shoot. And I'm hoping that we will be able to get our money's worth.
Okay.
She's a great player. I like her. She, again, with a theme of toughness. You got Copper, super tough. You got, Courtney Williams, super tough. You got Marina Mabrey. These are players who they got that dog in them, that fight. And I'm just really interested to watch her play for the Sky. She didn't play for the game. For both preseason games, she didn't play.
Okay.
She just came overseas. She won a championship overseas. Congratulations to her for that. And she came over late, so that's why she's trying to get acclimated to the system. And James Wade was like, no need to play her. In the preseason, we already know what she can do.
Mm-hmm.
We've already given up so much for her.
Okay.
She's starting, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just excited to see how she plays on Friday, because she's a great player.
Mm-hmm.
It's just we have a hodgepodge of folks on this team, and I'm just very interested to see how it actually turns out. Another player that you may know or may not know, Elizabeth Williams.
I heard her name. Her face is not. I'm not familiar with her face.
Yeah, she was the player who got injured that preseason game we saw. Remember?
The one that fell and hit her head.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So for those who didn't watch the game, it's on the YouTube channel. Watch it. The Sky was playing Indiana Fever in the first preseason game, and Elizabeth Williams was trying to jump up and block Aaliyah Boston's shot. Aaliyah Boston didn't shoot, and she kind of went in a little bit. Elizabeth Williams flew over top of her, and then
she got injured.
And then that was also the same time that Aaliyah Boston got her first preseason points. It was interesting. I was rewatching the game, and then I saw that Aaliyah Boston was like, oh, and then she switched. She was like, I'm getting my points. But Elizabeth Williams is okay. She went under concussion protocol, but it's very likely that she will be the starter for us.
Okay.
Those are the players who are on the Chicago Sky for this season. We have a lot of role players who were role players on other teams that are, testing their luck and seeing what they can do with the Sky. One player I'm very that I like a lot is Morgan Birch. However you say her last name.
Okay.
Morgan has really played well in these preseason games.
Okay.
I think she actually has a serious chance of actually making the roster. James Wade still has a couple more cuts to make. He made a big one today that I was very upset about. Kiana Traylor has been cut. Yeah, so it's a sad thing. Kiana Traylor was on Virginia Tech, and she was really good for Virginia Tech this past season. And I was like kind of excited when this guy traded when they drafted her.
Mm-hmm.
I was just really interested to see what the future held for her.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't play very well the game against Indiana that we went to. The Canada game when the Sky played against Minnesota, she played very well.
Wow.
So I thought she won herself a roster spot, but not quite. So, it's a tough league. People get
Yes,
cut all
it
the
is.
time.
Speaking of the league being tough, what are they going to do? We're hearing all these cuts for all these players that were drafted high.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel so disappointed for them. And because all these rosters have to go down to 11 or 12, a lot of them just don't have any chance. But I think it's unfair to be drafted high and get cut.
Yeah.
I think the league needs to go from 12 to 15 to give these college players that are coming in drafted high a chance to make the roster. I mean, what's the point of being on the team for preseason only to be cut and you're good? You know you're good enough, but they have to make a decision between good and better.
Yeah.
And so it's been kind of disappointing. I think last week we heard quite a few cuts from different teams.
Yeah, and this week even more. This week we had a lot of fan favorites, I would say, get cut. Destiny Henderson got cut from the Indiana Fever. I think she was a second round pick last year. You have I forgot her name. She was a number one pick in 2021. She was drafted to I forgot. But anyway, lots of players have been cut. And it's kind of tough to be a aspiring WNBA player. Because you have a lot of
competition.
A lot of competition and a lot of veterans. So the thing about the WNBA is the WNBA is the elite of the elite. The WNBA, the way the WNBA rosters are set up, I really believe if you put the a WNBA team, let's pick, I don't know, let's pick the New York Liberty or the Las Vegas Aces or hey, even the Chicago Sky the way it currently is, and you put them in the Olympics, they will medal in the Olympics. That shows how
good they are.
How tough and how good this league actually is. This league is the best of the best. And it sucks because you have a lot of players who come out of college and are really good. Really, really good. Like Kiana Traylor was a great player for Virginia Tech. And they come in the league, but they're good, but they're not good enough to make the WNBA. So if you only have 12 roster spots, you're like, should I really take the chance and develop this player into a great player? Or should I just stay with a veteran who's marginally better or dramatically better or whatever? Like you don't have a chance to develop players. If you had a roster of 15, you could develop players.
Right.
Also, if you just decided to have a secondary league of sorts, where teams kind of can you have sort of like a tier system. So similar to like people who are familiar with European soccer, right? There's different levels to it. And teams are able to if they're like one or two in their league, they're able to move up to a higher league, that type of thing. It would be interesting to see something like that for USA basketball. Just because the WNBA, if they were to make more teams right now, if let's say they add 2 more teams or 4 more teams.
Okay.
The overall quality of the league would go down. Because you're adding people who didn't quite make the cut into the league. But the future would be good, and it would give college fans an opportunity to see their player play, right? You have Monica Sanano, who was drafted by the Los Angeles Sparks.
Was she cut?
She was cut.
What?
And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Monica Sanano.
Oh my goodness!
Is a huge reason why Iowa made it to the championship game, and like millions and millions and millions of people watched her play.
Yes,
millions of people watched.
She was a beast.
Yeah.
Oh my.
With her screens, and then how she scored all these points, basically never dribbling. It was like, she's a talented player. Is she top 12 on a team for the WNBA? No, but that is a huge player that would have helped a lot for fan engagement, because you had millions of people watch the game against Iowa, against LSU for the championship. You had 3 players who came out in the draft, who was drafted. You had Monica Sanano, you had Alexa Morris, who was drafted to the Connecticut Sun. She played for LSU. You also had LaDasia Williams, who was drafted to Indiana. All 3 of those players are out of the league now.
Wow. That's big. That's big. And I think that's a loss for WNBA fans that was looking forward to seeing them play at a professional level. But if they had 15 on the roster,
they would have made it. If they had 15, they would have made it.
Yes, they would have had a chance to be on that roster and develop as a rookie.
Yep.
And year 2 and 3, you would see them be able to, you would see the improvements.
Yeah.
Now, what are they going to do? So now they have to decide, what do I do? Should I go overseas? Or should I just forget basketball altogether and just go get a job, whatever I went to school in?
Yeah, it's tough.
And they were all drafted in the high, right?
No,
they wasn't drafted high.
No, I think they were all drafted in the 2nd and 3rd round.
Really?
But still, it doesn't matter. Like you also have players in the 1st round who are getting cut. Everyone's getting cut. It you could be the last player picked, and you might make the team over a 1st round pick, just because it's about what the team needs at the time and whatnot. Like, it's tough. I will say one thing. If Allie Quigley was coming out as a rookie now, she would have got cut. Allie Quigley has been an amazing WNBA player, won lots of 3-point contests. If she was drafted now, she would have never made it past training camp, because she was a solid player, solid college player. But WNBA wise, she wasn't ready yet.
She still needed development.
And of course she was cut a couple times from a couple teams. She bounced around, eventually came to the Sky and was like,
it was a magic fit for her.
Magic fit. But these other players, they don't even have that opportunity, because the WNBA is so much harder to get into now than it was when Allie Quigley was a rookie.
Yeah.
So it's
sad.
Yeah.
It's sad to hear about these cuts, and like you said, the season getting ready to start, and some of these teams still have to do some more cutting. And it's like, I'm sure these ladies are on pins and needles, like, am I going to be the one?
Yeah, it seems very stressful. And I mentioned it earlier, but I couldn't remember her name. Charlie Collier was the former number 1 pick who has just got cut from the league. So, it's interesting. It's very interesting. And she was the 2021 number 1 draft pick. Looking at the Dallas Wings now, I agree with them cutting her, because she wasn't the top 12. Like, she just wasn't. Just like sort of comparing her to other players on the team. But it's kind of a bad look when the number 1 pick, the number 1 draft pick,
cannot stay
gone in 2 years.
Yeah. But again, if we had 15 players,
we will.
I don't know who we need to talk to or who needs to do the talking to increase that roster. But we're losing some great players that could be developed, because at some point these veterans are going to retire. Yeah. And the best players you've already lost because you cut them because they were not the top 12 at that time. And they're going to go and do other things. They may not even stay in basketball. And when you need them, they're going to like, well, I don't want to do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I've lost interest.
Which is, it's kind of sad, but it sort of is what it is. It's one of those things where not only is it a bad look for the players who get drafted and their families, and they're all happy at draft night, and they're taking pictures and dressed all nice just for them to get cut a couple days later. But it also is terrible for the prospective fans of the WNBA. There are so many fans and people who are just like, I just love Iowa women's basketball, and I was going to support Monica Czinano for the Los Angeles Sparks. I was going to go to games. I was going to, buy merchandise, all this stuff. But now that my favorite player is not on the team, I'm done. I'm not going to watch WNBA. There's so many college only fans that would eventually translate into WNBA fans if their favorite player made it a couple seasons in the league.
Right.
Because right now, their only favorite player is Monica Czinano. But if they watch the Sparks long enough,
they will have others.
They'll be a fan of Nneka Ogwumike. They'll be a fan of other players as they see more players around the league. Right. But if their player gets cut, they're like, I'm gone. And we lose them as a prospective fan, and the WNBA needs to grow.
Right.
And you're not growing when over 9 million people watch LSU versus Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
All these people could translate it into WNBA fans, and nobody that they watched on that court can be seen in a WNBA jersey now. It's problematic, It's very problematic.
So they need to think about it.
Yeah.
Can we increase that roster? Is it possible even next season, 2024? Is it possible to increase that roster so you don't lose these valuable players?
Yeah, it's something that Commissioner Kathy Engelbert has to figure out. But also it's a union question too. Like the WNBA, they just like a year or so ago, they agreed upon an agreement with the NBPA, the Players Association. And so do you need to change that a little bit? Because it came to some agreements on like salary and all this stuff, and salary caps and all that stuff.
Okay.
So they would need to revise that a little bit. So I don't know. What goes first? Increasing to 15 or just creating 2 new teams? We will, we'll see. We'll see.
But at least if they created 2 more teams, that's 24 more players.
Yes. That is 24 more players.
And how many players have gotten cut so far?
Yeah. And it's a new city, new fans, and it could really help. The NWSL, one quick thing about the NWSL, like they're in a similar spot, right? The NWSL is a small league. Right now they have 12 teams. They just expanded. Now they have 12 teams. But the new teams that they added is leading in attendance. You have they're both owned by like celebrities or whatever. So that's a factor.
Helps.
But you have Angel City, who's a team in California that, has 10,000, 15,000
at every game.
At games. Yeah, and their average is high. And then you have legacy teams like the Chicago Red Stars that have like 3,000 players, 3,000 fans. The NWSL's numbers is going up due to these new teams. So I know that Kathy Engelbert is nervous about, fan attendance isn't that high already. If you can pick the right place and partner with a celebrity influencer or whatever that can have ownership of that team, you would see huge results for fans. And the NWSL is you got the San Diego Wave, and then you got Angel City FC, who are tops. Them two in Portland are leading for attendance over these historic teams that have been struggling. Bring some new blood in with new owners and build a culture. The WNBA can do that. I think they're just nervous.
Right.
And, I say, paint the full house instead of just painting, one side at a time. Just do it.
Right.
Make it happen.
Because
people
fans
want 'em.
need to be excited.
Yeah.
They're not going to continue to come to games
Yeah.
if they're not excited. They're not going to even continue to watch them when they are on TV if they're not excited. They got to get excited. And they get excited by seeing a player that they recognize.
Yes. Yeah. All right, well that's the video. We talked about the Sky. There's lots more to talk about with the Chicago Sky, but you know, I think we've been recording this for a while, so we'll cut it off for here. But guys, thanks so much for watching. Any final words, Mama?
I'm just looking forward to the season. Hopefully, I'll be able to attend all the home games for the Sky and see that the team has grown together once all the cuts are made and they know who's going to be on the team. Hopefully they'll gel together, as they say, and make the best effort in having a winning season. We don't want to have a team where we look forward to losing. I don't want to come and say, oh, they're going to lose. I'm going to be positive and say that they're going to win. I don't care which team they play, even if the team has a better record. I don't even care about that. I want to see their best effort put forward.
Yeah, it should be it's gonna be an interesting season. The WNBA kicks off its regular season on Friday, May 19th. And the Sky are playing. They're playing the Minnesota Lynx, a team that they just beat in Canada. So we will see. We'll see what happens with the Sky. We'll see if they can make it happen and win that game. It should be a pretty interesting season. In our next episode, I think we'll actually go through our projections for the season. But I think spoiler alert, I think the Chicago Sky will be middle of the pack. Not very great, not terrible. I think we'll probably barely make it to the playoffs. And we may make some noise in the playoffs. Because remember, the Sky was 500 when we won the championship.
Sure was. And we went all the way.
So, you never know what can happen. Yes, there are some super teams. Yes, there's, the New York Liberty that's stacked. Yes, there's the Las Vegas Aces where Candace went.
Mm-hmm.
But,
you never know.
Injuries do happen. Not wishing anything on anybody, but it does happen. And I hope that the Sky will be ready to take advantage of whatever comes their way. And I know James Wade is scheming and planning and trying to figure out some stuff. So it'll be pretty interesting to watch the Sky play this season. So yeah, that's the video. Thanks so much for watching. If you guys like this video, please like it. If you love the Chicago Sky, please subscribe to this podcast. If you don't love the Chicago Sky, but you love women's basketball, please subscribe to this podcast. Or not this podcast. Please subscribe to this channel. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, guys. Bye.
Bye.